news all around the Ohio State Buckeyes right now, and we bring them to you on today's show via the Ohio State Football Report. Billy Beebe with you. Excited to be with you. As always, a packed show. A lot of things to talk about. You can see it here. We'll talk roster rumors, Heisman odds, national title odds, and, of course, some recruiting rumors to finish out. So plenty to get to in this one. My question for you now, though, is do you want to win this helmet right here? Look at this bad boy. Gorgeous. Perfect addition to the man cave. I don't advise eating nachos out of there, but a beautiful helmet to add to your Ohio State collection. We are giving this thing away. Find out how to win it. Be a part of winning it. Check out our watch parties every Saturday, a new way to be a part of Ohio State game day. Whether you're on the go, whether you just want to mix things up, try something new while you're watching the game, make sure to subscribe and join us for our watch parties. We begin with Redshirt news / rumors that we got on Sunday after the Minnesota game. It was kind of noticed or talked about that there were two players, guys that haven't been starters or big-time names for the Buckeyes this season. It was noticed that they never had helmets on and never played in the game against Minnesota. Expected now to take red shirts, CJ Hicks and Malik Hartford. Okay, got to shout out my guy Josh Ploha of 11 Warriors, and that's another shout out from Edina High School, myself and Josh Ploha. Look, these two guys, we've talked about them at multiple points before the season and during the season. For Hicks, a 5-star recruit that once again, it's not working at Ohio State. This season wasn't the CJ Hicks season. You can see he played 50 snaps. Redshirting is crazy to me because this is a guy who was dragging Arch Manning to the ground as he threw a 4th down pass to help the Buckeyes beat Texas. He's played in all 4 games. 4 games is the max you can play to keep your red shirt. We'll get into redshirting here in just a second. Hicks, in his final year of eligibility, not getting what he wants out of it, he'll try for another one. Malik Hartford switching over. You may recall it was going to be Caleb Downs and Jalen McClain / Malik Hartford. Well, then slowly it was just Jalen McClain. We took you through the snaps of those two guys. And Jalen McClain's very, very good, very physical, probably the perfect strong safety for this defense. Again, Hartford's just been playing special teams. He played in all 4 games, so he's hit that red shirt limit. So again, kind of he was also on our losers list, if you remember. So kind of disappointing there. Breaking down the red shirt situation. This is applying to the NCAA to essentially get another year of eligibility because of lack of play during a season. So both guys have played in all 4 games. That's the limit. They remain with the team, right? So as I said, they are dressed, ready to go in if something happens. Helmets just not on. Guys just not like overly eager to get in. And the coaching staff obviously not calling on Hicks and Hartford right now. The college football playoff, it has been made. So they can play in the playoff if the Buckeyes choose. And that still does not count. There's a waiver right now for them to be able to do that, or any player on any team to be able to do that. And as long as they didn't play in more than 4 games, they are eligible for a red shirt, to apply for a red shirt, and then gain another year of eligibility. Messy stuff with the red shirt stuff. It's about getting another year of college for these guys because they didn't play enough. Usually a red shirt, historically, or when you think of it, you go back to like Julian Sayin of last year, right? Barely touched the field, didn't play much at all. Here and there stuff for the Buckeyes. Freshman, gets that red shirt. Now he's got more time in college. Guys like Hicks, this was it for him. He was a senior. Hartford's a junior. Look, do I think there's a possibility these guys leave? Yeah, I do. I think for Hicks, it just hasn't worked in Columbus. Hartford was on our Tom Downey's possible portal list this past offseason. But you also have a situation where with Caden Curry gone, CJ Hicks could take that spot. And with Caleb Downs gone, Malik Hartford could take that spot. So that leads me to ask you now, will Hartford and Hicks be back at Ohio State next season? Or do you think this red shirt is just a reason for them to gain another year and go find a better fit? Type Y for yes if they'll be back, or type N for no if you think they'll move on. All right, let's get the energy up a little bit here. Let's talk Heisman. Buckeyes have options. They got guys in the mix. They got guys moving up. This is all good stuff for Ohio State. We checked in a little bit ago on the Heisman odds. Jeremiah Smith is about the same where he was in that 3 or 4 spot. Julian Sayin was 8 on that FanDuel list we took you through. This is from BetOnline. Sayin at 6. Julian Sayin climbing up the Heisman rankings. Yes, sir. No doubt about it. Looks very, very good for him, especially with some upcoming matchups. I think Fernando Mendoza could fall out of it. Ty Simpson has some very difficult games coming up. However, Ty Simpson playing very, very well. Dante Moore is playing at a very high level right now. Very, very good. Same with Carson Beck. I just love seeing 2 Buckeyes on there, right? And I think both those guys have earned it. And I think both those guys are going to stay on that Heisman list when some of these guys may fall out of it. Look, I know for Buckeye fans, there's a big thing about, I'm not worried about awards, individual awards. I'm not worried about rankings. I'm not worried about betting odds. For Jeremiah Smith, I think this is awesome. He's the only wide receiver being considered for a Heisman, and I still think he's got a really good chance to win it. Because when Sayin benefits, Smith benefits, and vice versa, right? The two are connected. They've got a schedule coming up that benefits both those guys. I think they play really well together. So why am I excited about this? What's the big deal here? The only non-quarterback in the country being considered for a Heisman is the guy we expected, and he's an Ohio State Buckeye. Do want to mention to you guys real quick before we talk more about the Heisman situation there. This episode brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. My favorite part about Prize Picks is it's simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Also want to mention, Stacks is here with Prize Picks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So if you want it all Josh Allen, more on passing yards, more rushing yards, more touchdowns, you can do that all in the same lineup, only on Prize Picks. A 2 stat projection for you to consider. Thursday night football coming up. Devontae Smith, more on the rush or receiving touchdown. I love that. I love the rush or receiving. And then my boy Trace mentioning Theo Johnson, more on the rush or receiving touchdown. The half for both these guys. I love a twofer, double trouble, deuce, whatever you want to call it there. I like it for the Thursday night football there with Prize Picks. Also, good example here. Prize Picks players, you can go directly on the app and copy other players' lineups with one click. Whether it's a celebrity partner or just someone who pick you like, you hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. For Julian Sayin being on this Heisman list, what's the big deal there? What's the hubbub? Why should you care? I think it's awesome that the youngest QB in this group, he is the youngest QB in this group, right? He has passed every test for the Buckeyes, continued to get better and better and better. Look, I just love the fact that Ohio State has 2 guys on this list, but did we think Sayin would be a Heisman contender in the top 10, in the top 8, in the top 6? I love it. It's good for the Buckeyes. It's good for Sayin himself. I think it lets him know that when they get into bigger games, I'm talking mostly about the playoff here, but when they get to bigger games, why can't he win those games? Why can't he look really, really good in those games? I think in the back of his mind, he can say to himself, I'm on a list with the country's best quarterbacks, best players. I can win these games. That's the big deal, I think, for Julian Sayin being on this list. Now, for the Buckeyes overall, again, I think the fan base usually treasures national titles. Obviously should. That's the main goal. And some people tend to not care at all about side awards or individual player awards just because it doesn't necessarily always correlate. However, it's been almost 20 years since an Ohio State player won a Heisman, Troy Smith. I think it's time. I would love to see it. I think it's good energy. That's the big deal for me, is I think it's something awesome that could happen for the Buckeyes. Bring them more confidence and celebrate the program just a little bit more. Now, in your opinion, who has a better chance to win the Heisman this season? Is it Jeremiah Smith, a guy we always thought could and should win it this year for Ohio State? If it is, type JJ down in the comments below. Or if you think Julian Sayin's getting better and better and better, and he's the main man on this offense, go ahead and type JS down in the comment section below. This is our pinned comment on the video, so you can check that out. We move from Heisman odds to national title odds. And again, if you're just a I don't care about this kind of stuff person, rolling your eyes, don't worry, we'll talk a little bit about it. Yes, the Buckeyes, since beating Texas, have been top dog, number one, good odds the entire time. You look at BetOnline's national title odds, Buckeyes, number one. Oregon climbing up, trying to catch up to them. Alabama, like I said, Ty Simpson and company looking really good, having a really good win Saturday. More big games coming up. Miami's getting a lot of talk. Georgia always hanging in there, and Oklahoma just waiting for John Mateer to get back. So not only is Ohio State one, but you got other teams kind of breathing down their neck a little bit. Oregon really coming in hot for me with the national title odds. Once again, I understand most people either A, don't care, or B, they don't like it being talked about that Ohio State should win a national title just because of the underdog status. I have found that with Ohio State fans, they love feeding off the underdog situation. I'm a hype guy. I like excitement. I like the thrill. I like the fun of a national title number one big-time season for my team. I think it's mainly because I'm a Browns fan, so any type of just giant excitement, I'll take as much as I can get. But with the Buckeyes, it's great. I don't care. Favored to win the national title, give me more. Give me good odds week after week after week. I'm buying the excitement on winning the national title, odds to win the national title, Heisman favorites, one guy on the Heisman list, two guy on the Heisman list. It's all energy for me. It's all energy for me on that. Want to fill you guys in on an announcement we got yesterday on Ohio State and Wisconsin. We're a ways away from that. We got 2 weeks to go on that. I understand, once again, focus on Illinois. That is what it is, but I want to keep you guys up to date and informed. Was announced this will be a 3:30 kickoff on October 18th between Ohio State and Wisconsin. What's the big deal? Not a night game. Camp Randall's a tough place to play. It's a tough place to win, no matter how you spin it. It's a good thing that the Buckeyes are not walking into a 7:30 kickoff against Wisconsin with that sort of energy. It just is. I keep flashing back. Oh man, I think about it over and over again because it was just killer to watch back in 2010. Ohio State finally snags that number one rating. Terrell Pryor, Jim Tressel, going to Wisconsin. Scott Tolzoin and J.J. Watt ruined the night for Ohio State, taking away that number one ranking, spoiling their season, essentially. I want no part of something like that again. I've been thinking about it too much until we got that time. I'm good with a 3:30 kickoff. And again, if you're on the Ohio State shouldn't fear any opponent, any situation. Look, we just watched Wisconsin in a noon kickoff give Michigan trouble, right? I just don't want anything the Buckeyes don't have to deal with. I think this plays in their favor, and I'm all good with that being a 3:30 kickoff. So that game coming up in 2 weeks. What is your confidence level for the Buckeyes matchup with Wisconsin? We saw them give Michigan a little bit of trouble. Again, this is a tough place to play. We'll see how that one goes. But scale it for me, 1 to 10. How are you feeling about Ohio State and Wisconsin? Do you want to finish up today's video with some recruiting rumors? What's happening with the Buckeyes? Some good news, definitely here as a safety. The Buckeyes have had their eyes on Kamari Bing, decommitted from Maryland. Ironically, that was after his official visit to the shoe on homecoming, Saturday night, prime time beatdown, and next thing you know, guess who's reconsidering where he's going to college? Taking a look at Kamari Bing, a 3-star. Right now he's playing corner, but a lot of colleges are regarding him as a safety, a riser in that 3-star. I think a lot of schools are giving him looks. Right now, Alabama's paying some attention to him. He's got a teammate going to Alabama, so we'll keep an eye on this. Also got to note that Ohio State has 2 safeties in the class of 2026, Blaine Bradford and Simeon Caldwell, both safeties for the Buckeyes. So Bing either would have to compete with those guys or be a part of that room, or again, he's a cornerback right now, so I don't doubt the Buckeyes could bring him to Columbus and develop him into a pretty good corner. This is a great example how I'm feeling, and I'm feeling really good about Ohio State's recruiting class for the class of 2026.